What a beautiful sunny day here in San Antonio, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Bob Schultze, who, as you know, is the President and CEO of ICMA-RC. Bob, welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
Beautiful sunny morning here in San Antonio.
I don't know, I walked through the rainstorm on the way here, but...
Well, it's great to see you here anyway. Now, it's the 45th anniversary of ICMA-RC,
It is.
Isn't it, this year?
Yeah, we're having a really good year. Not only are we celebrating our 45th, but the stock market is up, so our participants are feeling pretty good about their retirement accounts. We've also gained a lot of new business this year where employers have selected us to administer their retirement plans, new employers. We were created back in 1972 by ICMA, who had obtained a Ford Foundation grant to create an independent company that can provide portable retirement plans. We started very humbly. We had one client at Charlottesville, Virginia, and now we have 9,000 plans that we administer in 49 states. We have 1.3 million accounts, and we're administering about 53 billion in assets. So we've come a long way.
And you opened a new office in Richmond.
We did, yeah. We've outgrown our space in Washington, D.C., and even while that's still going to continue to be our headquarters, we needed to expand somewhere else where it was less expensive. Office rent in Washington is really infeasible. And we can get much better space at about 1/3 the cost. We have about 100 people there so far, most of whom have transferred from the Washington office, and we have space that we've locked in by lease for about 250 employees altogether.
So last time we last time we met in Kansas City, we were talking about the Realize Retirement Tour. So how did that go?
It went well, much to my surprise, frankly. I originally thought it was kind of a silly concept. You know, the whole concept is to provide gamification, to make retirement planning somewhat fun, somewhat humorous, because as most people know, they regard retirement planning as pretty boring and somewhat intimidating, and also something they can always put off. And so we came up with this concept of this Realize Retirement Tour truck. It's in the shape of a food truck, but it's loaded, doesn't have any food in it, but it has a lot of games. And wherever it goes, when it stops at a work site, employees come out, they gather around the truck, they play the games, they see the selfie station, the virtual reality goggles, and everything else is going on there. And while it's fun, it also has a serious purpose, because all throughout that event, we have local retirement representatives and investment advisors circulating among the crowd, talking to people about getting enrolled in their plans.
So what other initiatives have you been launching this year?
Well, two that I'd like to mention.
Sure.
One that we call a Guided Pathways Advisory Service, or GPAS for short. It's an investment advisory service, which we think is increasingly in demand, particularly people who are mid-career or getting closer to retirement. They now have pretty much figured out what their life plan is and when they plan to retire. They have some idea of the assets that they're accumulating, and what they want is individualized investment advice rather than a one-size-fits-all advice that they tend to get in most retirement plans. This is a new service where we're reaching out to people who we think can most benefit from it. And those, again, are generally mid-career people or late-career people that we think would best benefit by this GPAS service. So far, we've got 33 investment advisors in a pilot program that have reached out to people. And just in the last couple of months when it's been up and running, I think we have something like 1,200 participants joined and a little over 100 million in assets. One other program is what we call Defined Contribution Investment Only, DCIO. And it's a way that we can separately distribute our investment funds on other companies' retirement platforms. So even if an employer did not choose us to do the basic record keeping for their retirement, they can choose us to offer funds on their program, because we have a number of very attractive funds. And we can also do it now with the private sector. And so we're talking to some of the big wirehouses about setting up our funds on their 401k platforms, and then they can in turn distribute it to private sector employees, which we've never done before. So that's very new for us.
Well, Bob, thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Fascinating as ever, and I hope the 46th year is just as productive.
Thank you very much. Yeah.